What if one moment, one single decision had rewritten the fate of the world? Imagine this. It's June 1941. Hitler's armies stand on the edge of Europe, unstoppable after crushing France in just 6 weeks. Britain is still standing, barely, and the next move could determine everything. But instead of turning east towards the Soviet Union, what if Hitler turned west and finished off Britain once and for all? It sounds small, just a shift in strategy, but that one decision could have changed the entire course of history, because Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, would become Hitler's greatest mistake. The Eastern Front drained his forces, shattered his war machine, and opened the door for Allied victory. But what if he had waited? What if, instead of invading Russia, he had launched a full-scale invasion of Britain, Operation Sea Lion, and forced Churchill to surrender? Let's imagine that world. The Luftwaffe pounds London day and night, but this time, instead of turning toward Moscow, Hitler doubles down. He cuts Britain off from supplies, blockades the seas, and prepares for an amphibious assault. American aid through Lend-Lease? Gone. British command and morale? Broken. Churchill's famous line, "We shall never surrender," might have been silenced under German occupation. Without Britain as a launch point, D-Day never happens. No Normandy invasion. The US has no foothold in Europe. Meanwhile, Stalin, isolated, suspicious, doesn't face the devastating German invasion of 1941. The Soviet Union stays neutral longer, rebuilding its strength, and maybe even cutting its own deal with Berlin. The war drags on, colder and slower, with no clear Allied unity. And here's where it gets chilling. If Germany controlled Britain, their grip over the Atlantic would tighten. Submarines could choke American shipping, cutting vital resources. The US might still enter the war after Pearl Harbor, but with no allies left in Europe, their focus would stay on the Pacific. Hitler could have consolidated Western Europe, fortified it, and turned his empire into a fortress that no invasion could reach. But here's the twist. The reason history didn't unfold this way. Hitler couldn't wait. He believed conquering the Soviet Union would be quick, a 3-month campaign. He underestimated the Russian winter, the supply lines, the Soviet will. His arrogance, not his strategy, decided the outcome. If he had paused, if he had just focused on Britain, it might have been the Allies, not the Axis, on the defensive for decades to come. Every historian agrees on one haunting truth. World War II wasn't won just by bravery or technology. It was won by mistakes, and none was greater than the one Hitler made in June 1941, because in that moment the seeds of Germany's defeat were planted, not in a battlefield, but in a decision room. So what if he had chosen differently? The world you know today, the map, the powers, even your language, might not exist. One decision, one ego, one moment in time changed everything.